Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Network and Distributed Systems. My name is Miss Beatrice, and I'm gonna take you through this subject and see whether you are ready for your exam or whether you haven't covered as much, or which topics, or just to make sure that you haven't covered wrong topics. Okay, I'm not saying all the things that I'm going to discuss here today are the ones that you have really prepared for, or the ones that we have covered in the previous lecture notes that we have discussed, but let's just look at the most essential parts of network and distributed systems. We need to look and understand on the terms of a network, the types of networks. We need to understand what is peer-to-peer networks, network topologies. We need to understand what's the client-server model. We need to understand the network devices that are used in networks or setting up the networks, and then we also need to understand OSI model. All right. What's a network? What do you remember about the network? You may ask yourself, mostly people when they are on the internet, they say they are on the net, and then net comes from the term network or internet. So the difference, you need to understand the difference between a network and internet. What is an internet and then what's a network? Okay. And then a network can be defined as two or more computers connected together in such a way that they can share resources. The whole purpose of network is with the purpose of sharing information. And then us setting up computers, we need to connect at least the moment two computers connected together, like physically connected together, then that means we are setting up already a network. Okay, now, and if you want to understand now the difference between a network and an internet, we say it's a world wide web. Basically, it's a world wide web, which means it's a network of networks different networks together, combined together, all came together and form up one big network, and then we call it an internet. And then a network, at the moment you just set up a computer, let's say computer 1 and computer 2, that makes up a network. And then, as I remember when I was discussing with you in the notes, I said whenever the computers are now linked together, we don't call them computers anymore, but we call them nodes. We can say node A and node B. Whenever the moment they are connected in the form of a network, then they are called nodes. All right. So now we have different types of networks. We have a local area network, we have a wide area network, and then we have metropolitan network. So now we need to look at the settings. How is this one set up? Local area network is a computer network covering a small geographical area, like a home, two computers connected together in a house or in the office or group of buildings, like let's say in Trusco building. A network that is connected there is what you call a local area network. Just covers a small geographical area. Now, a wide area network, it covers a little bit of a broad area. All right. For example, it can be regional or national. Regional, we are saying maybe probably commerce region. A network within commerce region is a wide area network. A network may be set up in Kunene, for example. That is a wide area network. Okay. Metropolitan area network, which is a MERN, is a network that interconnects users with the computer resources in a geographic area or region, then that covered by even a larger local area. So the metropolitan is even more wider than a wide area network. Okay, like geographically we can say maybe a national, like a country. Okay, so now those are the different types of networks. You need to understand them. Peer-to-peer network. How do you understand now peer-to-peer network? So let's look. A peer-to-peer network is a network where the computer acts as both workstations and servers. What's the meaning of that? Where it's acting as a server and a working station. So great to small, simple and inexpensive networks. In a strict peer-to-peer network setup, every computer is an equal a peer in the network. There is no a computer that is more of a greater value than the other. So basically, once the computers are connected, then they are called peer-to-peer. They understand they are all of the same equal value. Okay, so it say each machine can have resources that are shared with any other machine, so they can share information equally. That's what you understand the term peer-to-peer network. So how do we set up networks now? We set them up in forms of what we call topologies. Topologies, you need to understand the form of what's the definition of a topology, which we understand is the structuring of a network. So now when we are structuring a network, we can structure it in a ring form, and a star, bash, mesh, tree, different types of topologies. So what I'm urging you to understand about topologies is that you should know how the sharing of information is shared in each of these topologies. And then I want you to look at advantages of each of these topologies and disadvantages of each of these topologies, because they all differ. For example, if I have to demonstrate how the ring topology works, let me see, ring topology, for example, ring topology, it comes in the form of a ring, and then each computer is connected out like that. Okay, in a ring topology, we have what you call a token ring. Okay, because it is in the form of a ring, we are trying to share information. What is the advantage of a ring? Each one is connected to the ring on its own, but the problem of it is that this token ring, it has to be shared. Let's say this is node A, and then it comes B, C, D, E, F. This is F. It comes in like this in the form of a ring. So this token ring has to be shared. So A has to pass it to B. So basically, F cannot share information anywhere until it receives that token ring. That's how tricky it is. So basically, if A sends a token ring to B, and then maybe it has been congested, then it has to resend it back, and then it will request A to resend back that token ring, and then it passes on and passes on until that moment when F receives the token ring. It's only the moment it can able to share information. Is that convenient with you? Now that's the part where I want you to understand different types of these networks. Which one is the best? Is it a bus topology? Or is it a ring or star or stuff? All right? No, excuse me. I explained the ring, but this is in the form of a star topology. Apologies there. But now what I explained is exactly what happens in a token ring. Okay? So when you're talking of networks, we need to understand what is a client-server model. Which one is a client and which one is a server? So when you're talking of a client-server model, this is when we are having a server set up, and then each computer that will be able to access information from the server is what you call it a client, and then you have to ask for access to access the server. Okay, this is a small number of computers that are designated as centralized servers and given a task for providing service to a large number of user machines called clients. Just as I explained, a server is set up, and then each computer that tries to share information from that or retrieve information from that server, then we call it a client-server model. So we need to understand it well, how the client-server model works. Okay, looking at this information here, this picture here, we have client number 1 up to client number 5, and then we have the server there. So as you can see there, it is a part of where client number 2 requested. It's sending the request. Okay, and then the server there, it is responding. Okay, it sends a response, and then client number 4, it also sending the request, and then now the server is also trying to respond. Now that's what happens in the client-server model. So for your task is for you to understand and read more on how the client-server model works. Network devices, very much important. What are the network devices? When we are trying to structure out the network, now let's say we selected a setup which is called now a topology. We selected maybe the bus topology. Now what kind of devices are we going to use? The devices that are mostly used in networking is the hubs, repeaters, switches, modems, and routers. Those are most important networks devices that I use. So for your task is for you to understand which one is the best device, how is each of these used in setting up the network. So that's your main aim to go and study. Reading more on how is the switch, how does the switch provide the network to computer, how can I set it up. OSI model. How do you understand OSI model? Open System Information Model. OSI model, we cannot understand information or networks, how the network works without OSI model. We understand that OSI model is made up of 7 layers, where it starts from the application layer up to the data link layer. So you need to understand which layer is which, and at each of the layer, we know that there is different types of protocols. Like if I may say, at application layer we have what we call file transfer protocol, which is FTP, HTTP. They are all at application layer. And then if I may say a transport layer, this is where the data is transported. And then here we have UDP, TCP. Those are the protocols that works at the transport layer. So now within these networks and within these layers, you need to know which layer is at which level. Like I know application layer, that is layer number 7, and data link, that is layer number 1, and then for example transport, that is layer number 4. So now your task is for you to understand the 7 types of layers. You need to understand them in accordance, and then each protocol that is at each of the layer. Okay, like at network, we know we have IP, Internet Protocol, it's there. TCP or Internet Protocol is also there at the network layer. So you need to know what is at the presentation layer, or what protocol is there, and then what does it do. So now that is your duty to know. Alright? Let's see if we have looked at this well. We need to understand the term network, the types of networks, how's each network set up. Okay, and then you can give example of types of networks, like local area network, in which building and how is it supported. Like for example in a university like IUM, what type of a network is there, for example, or is infrastructure there. Okay, we also need to look at the peer-to-peer network. How is this equivalent? Peer-to-peer meaning each computer that is connected in that network, it is equal. There's no of saying that the server has more information than the other, but it's both equal. Okay, now looking at network topologies, you should understand which one is the best network topologies, understand advantage and disadvantage of each network topologies, and then most important part of network topology is that you should know how to structure them out in a form of sketching. You should know how to sketch them. Okay, then we have now client server model. How does the client server model works? And then network devices, which one is of a best device to set up your network with? Are you gonna select a router, or are you gonna select a switch or a modem? Which one is the best? And then understand how each one works. Okay, OSI model, very much important. It's very much important, or a crucial aspect of a network. Understanding all the 7 layers of a network, and then each protocol, each layer has different protocols. Okay, and it doesn't mean that if UDP works at transport layer, then it can also work at data link. No. Or at the session layer. No, it's not. So now for you to discuss better, understand that okay, at application layer we have FTP, for example, file transfer protocol, and it comes to network setup, we know that we can only use it to access internet, for example. So now that's the part where I need you guys to pay more attention. So all these topics are more crucial in this subject, And in network in general, every part of this topic is really important for you to digest on, and then for you to focus more. There's none of this topic that is less or more important, but they are equal important for you to understand the network. And then in overall, you need to understand the networks, and then understand how is network related to internet. Is a difference between internet and a network, if I have to ask you in a different aspect, right? So now from my part, I wish you nothing but the best of luck in this exam, and then I hope you're gonna give me the best of answers when you are going to answer in the exam. Otherwise, bye.